Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Catherine Sack. I'm your host. This is the 40 Portal. Today's episode is a number one stunner. One of the best pieces of feedback that I have gotten on the podcast is this. I love listening because it never feels like you are trying to fix, solve, optimize, or provide even a piece of advice or a 3 simple step solution to midlife. And I'm like, I'll take that because truly the entire concept of the 40 Portal Project, the podcast, the book, all of it arose out of the real life conversations that I was having with the women in my life about turning 40. And there is this line, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, from I believe it's John O'Donohue's Anam Cara. And actually, if you go back to Dina's episode, we talk about Anam Cara. Anam Cara is this concept of soul friend, and these people who come into our lives and are some of our most important and primary meaningful relationships for who we become and how we move through this world, even if they don't last a long time. Like they can be a moment in time. And John O'Donohue writes about this type of friendship and says, you know, when we spend time with these friends, it's not about, we don't judge that time based on how many problems we solved when we were together. We base our experience of that time on how it felt to simply sit with each other. And today's episode is one of the oldest, most ancient, but also timeless experiences of that sitting with each other, not trying to solve problems, being in the messy middle of the conversation, and simply being together. Because today's episode, I recorded, wait for it, while I was getting my hair done. Just letting that silence land. Like, if you have sat in the chair with your person, and if you are a person who gets their hair highlighted, you know you spend like 3.5 hours in that chair. It is one of the most intimate experiences. How many conversations that try to solve nothing but mean everything happen in this intimate space. I am sitting today with my hairstylist in real life, the queen and priestess, Lourdes Rodriguez, and she is the type of person, when you meet her, you're just locked into her depth of experience and the way that she can say it and claim it and name it, and also just be with you and see you. There were parts of this conversation that I was going to edit out because I felt like, oh my gosh, she's seeing me, and I feel almost embarrassed to receive the depth of this seeing. And I left it in because I think we need to practice as women too, like our ability to receive being seen, to receive kind feedback and compliments. And who better to do that than the person who sits with us in such an intimate way? This episode it is so real. It's the realest of the real because we literally sat together. I actually only recorded about half of our time together because, again, this was like 3.5 hour long experience. And the result is this like gorgeous haircut and color that I have. I chopped my hair off, which is so 40. And it's one of the things we talk about in today's episode, how our appearance changes as we age. How can we be in conversation with the way we present ourselves to the world as we age? It's such a good episode. I'm going to let it speak for itself. Dive in. And also, well, before you dive in, I'll say the thing I always say, keep spreading the word about the podcast. We're growing. We're growing because you're listening and you're sharing, and something here is resonating. So if you can, As always, share this episode today with someone in your real life who maybe your hairstylist, who you're having these conversations with. Please pass the episode along to 1 other woman, 3 other women. It is amazing how much that helps to spread the word. Come follow us on Substack because we're growing there. We're growing. And not only is the Substack kind of picking up new people, I've also added a tier to our community there, the 40 Portal Book Club. Which, if you've been listening along, even in this introduction, like I can't get through an episode without talking about books. Books are some of my greatest teachers in midlife. And so the 40 Portal Book Club, there's no meetings, there's no pressure to read the book. I'm basically going to read parts of these books to you, share my reflections, create little journaling prompts for you to use. It's one of my most favorite things that I've created because I am obsessed with books and learning from books, and it's a joy to share them with you over on the Substack. So find us there. Make sure you're subscribed or liking or following along. These conversations are, they're so meaningful to sit and be here with you. So have a listen. Welcome to the episode, Number One Stunner with Lourdes Rodriguez. So, I always start by showing you a picture of my kid.
Let's see.
Because in my head, that's what my hair still looks like.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Blonde.
This is my favorite part when it's like, this is me, this is what we're going to do. But actually, we can do this, in fact.
But then here's my older kid, and I can see his hair is already starting to get
This
dark.
is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that that's what my hair used to look like. I was thinking as I was driving down here, I mean, I probably started coloring my hair when I was a freshman in high school.
Did your mom take you to the salon?
Yeah.
And she was cool with it? She gave you permission?
Yeah. And I went to see her lady, Denise.
Yeah.
And that was probably the last time, I have to tell you, that I was faithful to a hairstylist. Because then I just bopped in. I just bopped around, whatever. But Denise was my girl.
Yeah.
And now, thank God, 26 years later, you're my
Here we are, up in the Hudson.
Okay, so I showed you this picture. My child has really natural, different blonde color highlights.
It's goldier than what you have going on here. I remember last time we blew it up and we were bright as hell and you were like, I'm going with it. This is the vibe right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is a little bit sunnier. It's the sun kiss is more goldier than what you have going on in these ends. Now,
okay.
Because you tend to lighten naturally with the sun and everything, it is gonna lighten. So I think we should just what I want to do is probably a mix of tones. Let's add a honey tone and then a lighter tone. So all these tones kind of intermix. So we create that dimension in the hair.
Yeah, because that's dimension.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go for dimension. Now, I have to say, every woman I'm talking to these days who is my age is either I'm getting bangs. Which, when you hear that, what do you mean?
In the summer, right now.
Well, I feel like that's code for I'm having a little existential crisis.
Yeah. Well, also, it is the moment. The bangs are having a moment because they're not so much in your face. These bangs don't bother me because look at how much height I'm giving them. So they're not super in my face.
Yeah.
And also something called now curtain bangs. So you can kind of sweep them to the side. So unless you have an annoying cowlick that's just going to force it into your eye or something, there's ways of sweeping it and it looks really cute. And then girls on the weekend, they style it. They know how to style. And then, it looks really adorable. So they're having a moment.
We're not doing bangs because I don't do my hair.
I thought that's where we were going. So we're not going there. You just wanted to point it out. Well, be everybody's getting bangs, but I'm not doing it.
So two things. Yeah. One is people are I'm getting bangs. Yeah. And I'm are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Yeah. And then the rest are I'm chopping my hair off.
Okay.
Which is also what women tend to do. Historically, growing up, every woman I knew, all my mom's friends in her 40s had short hair.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of, getting darker, getting gray, and then your hair, my hair is.
I just want to interrupt 1 second and say that this comb is not doing this situation any favors. I'm going to get a brush because we need more power here. So I'll be right back.
Refresh my
hair.
Yeah. This episode is like there's no
I don't know what this
secret.
hair has been through in the last few hours or days, but we need more power.
That's so funny.
There we go.
There's no secrets left.
Yeah.
I get my hair done twice a year.
Yeah.
By you.
Yeah.
And in between, I just basically put it
It's up in a ponytail.
ponytail. Yeah.
I know. Even when I was looking at you in India, I was like looking at your root. I'm like, let's see where it is, and let's see where the blonde is, whatever, and let's see what style she's doing on her poses.
Right. Well, I put my hair up like this, and
No, does that not bother you? Like, are you not like? Doesn't it give you a headache?
it can after a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think? Should I chop my hair off or get bangs or
Girl.
or do what I always do?
Okay, let's get one thing straight.
Mm-hmm.
You have like hot girl status, meaning you could do whatever the hell you want and you're gonna look amazing. I could do a pixie on you. We could chop it off. We could whatever. It really is, what are you comfortable with? If you told me, Lourdes, I want to bob this hair, I want to give it a little movement, that would look amazing on you. But what's practical in your life? It seems that you always like to put it up in a pony. If the reality is that, let's say we give you a chin length bob, you would probably pull up some hair and put it up a little bit so it's out of your face. Now that would be really cute.
Yeah.
But you would still put it up a little bit. So are you willing to,
Yeah.
what's the length that you're willing to handle?
Well, usually when I come in, I'm like, just take off everything that's dead, which
Right.
is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to lob, at least we have to lob, which
Yeah.
means it's a long bob. Yeah.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
think
I'm in
let's
for
do
the long
something.
bob. We can go even shorter just
Okay.
because I don't see you so much. Your hair actually, it's it's healthy, but it's like it is healthy hair in the sense that it grows really well.
Yeah.
Like this is a lot of length that actually came out. So I think it'll be cute for the summer for you to
Let's do
have something
a little bit
okay.
perky.
Even over the lob. Yeah, I agree. I like
Okay.
that.
Like I'm like, it's hair.
Let's actually cut some length off right now off the
think so.
bat.
Okay.
Are you ready? Or
Yes, I'm ready.
has India given you enough? Like, let's breathe it in. Let me grab some shears.
I've transcended.
Yeah,
Here
you
you go.
transcended.
And I'll chop my hair up. But I appreciate you saying it's hot girl status. I can put that.
Girl.
I would say like every 6 to 7 years, I probably do a more major
Yeah.
cut. So like the end of 2020, my hair was like here, basically. So it's been 6 years.
At the end of 2020.
Uh-huh.
Is that, were you just like having one of the younger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got pregnant and my hair was a little bit shorter. Let's see. Let me see if I have a picture.
Okay. Do me a favor. We got to stand and look at the wall here really quick.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, perfect.
So that's how
Let's see.
short my hair was.
Oh, cute. So I would consider that a lob. So I would go a little bit further up, maybe even like an inch, and if you're willing, 2 inches above that. So
Okay, let's try
we
it.
can discuss.
Let's do it.
You just cut some length here.
I'm excited. I just feel like I need something different. You know what I mean?
I know, and I love that about you. I love it. No, because it really is brave, Not everybody's willing to do it. I feel like I'm kind of the same way where I'm like, screw it, just do it.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Like
look
it's
at
something different.
already.
Okay.
The hair got healthier in 1 second already.
That's what we just needed that dead off. So what do you see women in their 40s like? Do you see them majorly changing their hair? Do you see them going with something safe? Like what is there a trend you notice?
Okay, this is what I'm going to say about women in my generation is that we are the coolest one. First of all.
Yes, agree.
Like, we know how to party. We know how to take it easy. We know how to take time for ourselves. We're in an impasse in the sense that our hormones are gaining on us and we're constantly fighting it, and it's, gone a little nuts.
Yeah.
However, it's the amount of cool in my generation, it's off the freaking charts. So everybody wants to be unique, and we're in this in-between of looking at the younger generations, looking at the older generations, and creating a really cool path for ourselves. And not settling, especially the communities up here.
Yeah.
Because people moved up here for that reason, to be themselves, to create their own path. So you see it in all of the creative areas, even in hair.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that so much. Okay, so I know who you are. Will you introduce yourself to our listeners? Tell us your name, how old you are. I always say, well, okay, tell us how old you are, tell us how old you feel, and then I'll get more into like your titles and who you are.
Wow, I think the whole interview is just going to go on this one question, I think.
Okay, great.
Okay, my name is Lourdes Cristina Rodriguez de Costa. I'm going to say it in Spanish. Lourdes Cristina Rodriguez da Costa. Lourdes is Spanish Catholic name from the Virgin Mary. Cristina, and it's my mother's name. Cristina comes from my dad's name, Cristobal. Rodriguez is my dad's last name. Da Costa is my mother's last name, which in Latin America, we use them together. So that's why I always mention it, because I think it's important. I am 46 years old. And my name has a really beautiful story, and I would like to share because I think it's so nice. All right, take a seat.
Okay, tell. I really want to hear it.
So, can we? I mean, Hulk. But look at how much density you have now.
That's what I want. That's what I want. It's like more density.
Yeah, so nice. Okay, so my grandfather, World War II, big veteran guy. He passed away in '89. But in World War II, he was in France, and him and this other soldier were the only survivors of this war, so of this battle. So he's running, and they find refuge. And this family in this house were basically like, we don't really have food or anything to give you. We'll give you refuge. But if you want, there's the Lady of Lourdes down the whatever if you want to go pray. So then at night, they would go and pray to the Lady of Lourdes and basically say, if you save our lives, we'll name our first daughters Lourdes. And that's basically how my mom and my aunt also got her name, because she also got some of it. And then that's how I got my name. So it's always a name that's sort of this blessed thing. My grandfather went on to also participate in the Korean War. He was a big military guy in Puerto Rico as well. But it was just like, it's a really beautiful story. And I always think of him, in a special way. I wouldn't say the name itself. I'm like, I love my name, but it has such a deep meaning. And also the fact that my second name is Cristina after my dad. I hold my name very dear. So I love it. Yeah.
I love that. Do you feel like that gives you like a closeness to each of your parents and then your grandfather as well?
My family is my anchor for everything. So, and my culture. So regardless of anything and everything, it just holds me tight and together. No matter how crazy I am and whatever aspects of my life I'm going through, it just always anchors me in a way. So it completely tracks that my name is what it is.
So you grew up super Catholic?
I don't want to say it's different. I would say in the Puerto Rican sense of the American sense, because in the Puerto Rican sense, you're in the environment. Everybody's a Catholic. So it's like part of everything. It's part of your parties, your whatever. You're going to a baptism every 2 seconds. It's such a part of the culture.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's very intentional and in a different way. But I questioned a lot, just like most of us up here. We're sort of rebellious at heart. And I did. I started questioning a lot. And, everybody's saying, like, you got to have faith. You got to have faith. So I do have, some drama, but I will say that even today, as much as I've removed myself a lot from participating in Catholic rituals and ceremonies and whatnot, especially up here, I still go to a church and I find peace. So it's still something that through the indoctrination of it, it's still sort of cemented inside of me, and I've accepted it now. I think that's what it is in your 40s. You sort of let it go, you lose the fear, and you just accept what it is. Like, whatever it is, I just sit in a church sometimes to find, like, a little piece of myself. So I love it. Yeah.
Preach.
Okay.
Preach.
I'm going to go mix
color.
Oh, yeah. Have we even talked about that? We just, talked about your length. Let's talk about your color.
Make it look like Jordan.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You already did talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me just
cover some of this gray, but it's inevitable. So
no, babe, this is gonna last you forever. You're so lucky that you're a natural blonde, and we can highlight you for so many years until you actually need to do anything else, and probably for the rest of your life.
That's great.
Which is great, because that means you only do have to get your hair done 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah. I appreciate you still calling me a natural blonde.
Kath, was that your first time going to India?
It was, yeah. It was wild. It was such a wild trip.
Mm-hmm. You really had to let go of maybe an expectation and just embrace whatever the experience was.
And also, like, I just had to be really present because if I thought about how far away I was and thought about like how long it would take me to get home to see my kid, like,
Yeah.
I just I couldn't think about anything that was not right in front of me because if I did, I would have felt like too anxious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the group was awesome. It was all women, ages 30, kind of like my birthday party, ages 34 to 76.
Wow.
Like, it was incredible. Every decade represented, like, really cool to, like, spend that much into
Are you wearing your hair like this these days?
Okay, so listen, this is also the thing. So, like most millennials,
We're losing hair and you're being crazy and
no, I always had a side part. And then, like,
Okay.
a couple years ago, when, like, this thing came in, I started doing, like, a middle part.
Yeah.
I think they both look okay.
Okay.
But we gotta figure this out for this length. What are you
No, I'm gonna foil off the mid. I'm still gonna tone down the root anyway, so it doesn't look like fresh on the base. Like I want it to grow out really natural so that you can have longevity with it. So that's not an issue. I rather foil from. I mean, I rather do it from the middle.
Okay, that's fine. I do both. I do both parts.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of nice brightness here. It's just gonna be. I don't want it to be so concentrated here.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so wait, you told us you're 46 and how old?
6. I'm a Capricorn, rising Taurus, moon in Pisces.
I love that. Almost every episode, almost every guest on the podcast has their like rising sun.
Is that crazy? I'm like witchier the more I'm here. Like it's insane.
So what does that mean? Tell me a little bit if people don't know all the astrological stuff. What does that mean when you say that? Like, what does that mean about you?
Okay, I've always known that I'm a very grounded person. And the more you read into it, of course, things track. So I'm a Capricorn. It's a very grounded sign. It's an earth sign.
Oh, I see that.
I'm a rising Taurus. Taurus is also an earth sign, which also tracks. Now, Tauruses tend to be a little bit more, what's the word? Bougie as hell, which as I've gotten older, my bouginess has gotten to a psycho level. Like the other day, I'm like, I need to get this robe with the scalloped arm. And I'm like, who gives a crap? Why do I need this double cotton gauzy, like,
because you do.
come back to earth, be a Capricorn again, because Capricorns are more practical and Tauruses are more like, so I gotta, also like we're at war. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? Like the consumerism in me has just gone out of freaking control. So yeah.
Well, it's too easy to be in your consumer side, right? Like we're surrounded by it. It's crazy.
Yeah. But thankfully, I can look at it, accept it, see it, and be like, moving on. And then Pisces tends to be a very dreamy sign, which is very much like me. I very much can daydream forever. I can dream up scenarios. I love to write. I love to be artsy in a lot of ways. So it's a part of me that I'm very thankful for because I'm so rooted in so many ways that I need something that's lighter in my life. It allows me to be more sensitive, more empathetic, things like that. Now, do I believe in this stuff? I like to I would say, sink my toe in and I can go with the flow, I guess I would say. I can have somebody who is into it and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Because in a way, what I do here and what I really love more than hair is to be like a sort of cultural anthropologist, you know? We're here to really discover and get to know ourselves and the root of it and why do we behave this way and do this and whatever. And I'm a forever curious intellectual. So
I mean, I think that's also why you are now my like forever hair person because like you do great hair, but that's only part of it, right? Like time is so precious, life is so precious. When I've gone to see like someone I didn't click with, even if they did good hair, it's like I'm just sitting there reading Cosmo for 3 hours. Like I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm here for.
Right.
So like I appreciate that. I love all those descriptions. So tell our listeners a little bit about like your roles. We know that you're a super talented hairstylist, but also you are a writer and this cultural anthropologist. I just love all this. So tell us more about your, who you are, your roles, but you can also go beyond like on paper. I feel like you are.
I mean, There's so many layers to a person. Um, I would say one that I take very seriously is being a mother. I have a 24-year-old. So that's sort of on a shelf somewhere, and I hold that very dear. Family is extremely important to me. Um, Personally, I am very intellectually curious and restless. Doing hair was simply a vehicle for me to do all these things. I would say if I would have had the life that I wanted, because I got pregnant at 21, so my life took a sharp turn and I had to make decisions. So I made that decision to have my child, and my life took a certain turn. That doesn't mean like, oh, your dreams, whatever. It just meant that, I thought about this a lot, and it just means that my life became more honest, and that's so me in a different way. And still, like, if I would have done what I wanted to do, which I think in a way would have been probably some version of Amal Clooney in the UN type of thing, um, I would have I would have been jaded in a different way. I would have encountered all of these scenarios and situations where you would have hit walls, institutions that would have said no. Everything that I want in life has to do with building bridges, building connections, communicating, seeing how we can find common denominators between people, between villages. How do we stop? Um, Conflict, how do we get along better? So I'm never going to pick one side. That's never going to be me. I'm always going to be the one who's trying to forge peace one way or another, including everybody. So I mean, that's pretty much at the end of the day who I am, and through that there's a lot of bridge building and a lot of intellectual curiosity to a point where it could become very restless. So I'll have conversations here that can be, very political, uh, but also they can be about nothing at all, because the cool thing about getting to know people and learning how to bridge differences is to listen and to get to know them really well. Where are you from? Why are you, tell me about your religion, your mannerisms, your father, your brother, your sister. Why are you like this? We need to come from a place of understanding. So I always feel challenged to get to that point to understand somebody. And a lot of people always tell me, even like the people in my family, for example, that challenge me the most, they'll always say, like, you always want to give people grace. And I'm like, first of all, people deserve grace. And two, like, it's not that I want to give people grace. It's that I have to believe that there's good in everybody and everybody wants to live a particular life. And I might be delusional, but that's, I guess, what propels me forward in life.
I feel like we live in such a particular time of like the internet, which is just a really simple way of saying it. But as you're talking, I'm like thinking about how our scale for what we do can be any size, and it doesn't make it any more or less meaningful.
Yeah.
And you have this intimate scale of literally sitting one-to-one with people for a long time.
Yeah.
Then the other thing I was thinking is like, wow, this is actually a really traditional way to do that kind of work. Like, for how many years have women sat with their hairstylists? Even like the idea of the barber shop, and that being like a place where people come together and like learn each other's stories, change communities. There's like a really rich history of that. So I think in a sense, maybe you're not screaming it on the internet, but today you are on the podcast. Like, there's something timeless about having that kind of connection in this setting.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
But I also want to underline that this is a place to feel comfortable. This is a place where people need to come and relax and be themselves. It's a place for just let it go and be yourself. Yeah, you can hit me with any conversation and we'll attack it or we'll cry about it or we'll whatever. But it's a place of serenity. I think that's the main thing about, for me, getting older. It's to find softness in our life and, getting through all the fears with a different type of attack, I would say. We got to relax. So my whole thing is just come, chill out, let's have a good time. I never want a conversation to get too out of hand. I never want anybody to feel, offended, much less uncomfortable or anything like that. It's about laughter, conversation, sisterhood, brotherhood, just finding community and friends. That's what this is about. Now, on the side, I dream about creating sort of maybe a workshop of sorts where we do tackle like knowledge and little workshops of just like getting to know like areas of the world, and we can like have a group of people who are nerdy like me and like to discuss things like that and whatever. So
I feel
I
like
see.
we talk about a version of that every time I come in here. And I want to do more stuff like that too, like kind of hosting stuff in the cross space,
Yeah.
intersectional spaces. It's not so much just like the hair or just the yoga or just the meditation.
Yeah.
It's like, all of those settings kind of open you up in a way that maybe makes you less guarded. I want to ask you something too. You're talking about grace earlier, and I feel like we always talk about grace. And I wonder
Grace is a good one.
if you have a definition, like your own definition for what grace is.
A big exhale. Grace is a big exhale, and grace is also a deep breath. I know that is contradicting, but it's almost like shedding the tear. It's like finding vulnerability. It's everything that you've learned, everything that you held that makes you kind of find strength, and you're like, this is what makes me strong, especially in our generation. Because in our generation, it's like, hold it together. That's what makes you strong. And then it's like, no, you need to give yourself grace, shed that tear, let that armor go, and we will together figure it out.
So you're 46. How do you feel?
Okay. On one end, 20, on one end, 950. Like if I died tomorrow, I could be like, I didn't. I'm good. Excellent, great. Moving on to the next life. And I probably want a 500-year vacation in between. Yeah. However, there is a part of you that still feels really young, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And my mom always tells me that. She's like, I still feel like I'm really young in my mind. So that always sticks with me too. And I can sense that. I can sense that in myself. But also, our mind, when you study the brain, and you create these patterns and the brain creates these pathways, sometimes we're fooling ourselves. Sometimes I have to tell myself like, girl, chill. You're not young anymore. You're not 17. And when I see a 17-year-old, I'm like, I'm definitely not 17.
Yeah.
Or 20 or whatever. So I think part of the work is sometimes like accepting where you are. So my goal is always to be like, I love 46. 46 is great. And let me enjoy and feel 46.
I love that. Okay, so speaking of 46, what is one narrative or story or script that you were given about a woman who's 46 when you were younger? Like, what did you think a woman at 46 would be like? What were you told?
I don't think I was told, but I definitely thought that a woman of 46 was definitely gray-haired, older, long dresses, short hair, and just kind of done, kind of almost grandma status for sure. So yeah, that's think the idea in my mind, which is crazy. I think about that all the time. Like when I remember one time I was watching like MTV and Janet Jackson came out, and I remember she looked hot as hell with her abs and she did the dance routine, and I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. And then they asked her like, how old are you, Janet? She's like, I'm 34. And I thought she was 500. I was like, 34? Like, I thought she was so old. And I was like, that's insane. And so I always think about stuff like that because I'm like, we're so nuts. Like, we have no idea. Like, 34 for me now feels like she's 5 years old, I'm like, good for you at 34, like kicking ass. So yeah, some things just come with wisdom and age. We just don't know.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm like, what is the punchline going to be? Yep, 34, but you could see it's so old.
It's crazy.
And now I'm like, oh my God, 34, baby. Like,
I know.
Wow, that's so funny. Yeah, okay. So here's a question. What were you supposed to have done by now?
Oof. God, the real one, because I really want to try to stay away from profession-wise,
Mm.
is love myself, you know? That's the real one. It's like really finding again, we go back to this word which I talk about all the time, the grace for yourself, the love for yourself. Because there's so many roads to really achieve different things,
Yeah.
but to truly just have kindness for yourself, I think that's um a work in progress that wasn't in progress until maybe even my 40s, maybe into, once I got onto this floor. So I think that's the big work that I'm still working on, I think.
That is so beautiful. Also, I'm like totally seeing my own neuroses in these questions because, yeah, for me, when I wrote that question, it's so tied to like
Yeah.
professional goals and probably capitalist, like
Yeah.
what I have achieved or
But
accomplished.
that's okay because that's the world we grew up in. So of course
Yeah.
you're going to tie it to that. We've been defined by it, I just sometimes feel that when we define ourselves by something, it's so easy to take you down. Same thing with like religion, whatever. You attach yourself to that identity, people can take you down so easily. It's like, well, you're not that. So boom, you feel hit. Like, no, like you have to redefine who you are on multi-level so that your cups are full in different ways so that, if you get hit here, yeah, but I'm not just that. I'm all these other things. So, and I know I see the way you work, Kath, like a beast. You have an idea and you're like, I'm going to put that into I mean, it's insanity. And, I want you to succeed at all of it, but also personally, I want you to like love yourself and grow and understand that you're already successful, that you already got there, that in your fourth floor, you've achieved so much. Even the way you transition from being a lawyer to being where you are now is so successful. To having two kids that are so different from you, that you're trying to like be a parent to is so incredible. Like give yourself grace and know that you are already reaching all those goals. You are so much more than your profession.
Okay, I think we're done.
Okay.
I'm like, I think we need to have like a 900 numbers to Lourdes. So like people can call in and just take it to church, man. That was so, oh my God. Thank you for that. That really hit because, yeah, I mean, I feel like touched by that and I feel the truth in a lot of it. And I also can see that I hold the complexity of being like, and I'm still not doing enough. Isn't that crazy?
Insanity. That's the definition of insanity for me. But let me be extremely honest because I love your business. The business that you've created with your husband is a pillar of the community. It's exactly what you guys set out to do. It makes people happy. I hate that it's so far away because I'm lazy as it is and it makes it really hard for me to get there. And I'm trying really hard to make it. It's been 500 years since I've made it. And I love it. And you bring so much peace. And even the people that we meet there, even when we went there for your birthday, I mean, you've built something beautiful there and you keep growing it and you keep building it. And now you're going to India with all these people. And I mean, you've done good, babe. It's special and it's quality, so
I
yeah.
appreciate you. Thank you very much. It's really kind of you to say. And I don't know, it just kind of shows too, like, we're talking a little bit about the way we were raised and like the examples we were given. Like you were saying, you got to hold it together. You got to do it. It's like,
Yeah.
But then I think there is this ability to chart a different path or to like be motivated by things that maybe aren't what we were taught to focus on, right? Like the idea that you could be motivated by building community or, making an impact in just like a very local, tiny way. Like, I don't know. I think that's very interesting. And I wonder, does that have to do with reaching a certain age and just saying fuck it? Or do you think it's just, I don't know, the chapter of the story that we're in right now?
I think definitely it requires age, which this day and age requires a lot of patience because obviously, like, I mean, the way I have no patience for crap these days, and how much I need a 12-step program to get over my freaking phone. And that, like, I mean, it's insanity. Like, I have to let it go. That instant gratification. We've spoken about this before, how I was such a book reader and I was such a whatever. And now, because I love knowledge, these things like TikTok, ChatGPT. I mean, if I want to know, what the colors of the flag of whatever are, I'll just immediately chat. Give me the colors of the flag of this country, and let's go down the rabbit hole of the different flags and the history and the whatever. And I will spend hours just like looking at that. And it's just created like a different world. And I get a little bit concerned. So that patience that we need to figure out, what we need is, unfortunately, I feel like we're losing that game, and it's kind of essential. But I think with age, definitely when I hit my 40s is when I really started thinking of like, what's really important to me? I mean, for me, that's community and family, period. It's not that big, community and family. Like, and that's in the comfortable times and the uncomfortable times. Like, if you called me and said, like, I broke my foot, I'm in the snow with a leopard, whatever, I'm going to figure out. We're going to figure it out. I'm like, Kath is with the leopard. We have to save her. We're going to find a way. That's what community does, Same with my family. I will break my arm for one of these people. Some of them don't deserve it, but I will. Like, it's just what it is, Like, we have to teach each other and teach the kids that to build something worth having and worth whatever, we have to put in the time and the sacrifice. Those are the things that have become important to me. Everything else, like my business, money, whatever. Of course, I told you, I'm rising Taurus. Trust me, like I want to travel, I want to do bougie stuff, but I have to prioritize. And my priorities have, been reestablished in my mind. Yeah.
It's interesting, like the phone thing. We've definitely talked about it. I was actually thinking on my drive here about how, the world is changing so rapidly. It's almost like because I come in like twice a year to get my hair done. It's like even in the last 6 months, we've gotten more dependent, and it's just
wild.
It's wild, and I think it's really cool. And this is like maybe a dumb sentence, but you do hair. Like, that's not going anywhere. People are always going to need to come in and fit in real life to have this done. And that is so, it's getting rarer and rarer that things are like standing the test of time in that way. And you're in one of those places.
Yes. I joke around with my kid all the time who, he's studying computer science and stuff, and he's always like, Mom, you're the one who's going to support me in a few years. And I'm just like, I know it. I'm going to support the whole family with my little like hair business on Warren Street. But it's because people need to be touched. And we're a few of the last, where we touch each other and we can, whatever. And unfortunately, in American culture where things have become so much more privatized, individualism is supported a lot. It unfortunately things like this will then work against what we're trying to build.
I feel like you've touched on a couple of these things, but where do you feel like your growth is right now? Like, what would you say you're working on? Where do you feel yourself growing? Is there something that stands out?
For me is trying to find a way to do what I do here, because I love the work that I do in a salon. But again, it goes back to feeding my soul in a sense, which again can be a very individual thing. But going back to building bridges, and I can only compare it to some of like the life of Anthony Bourdain when he was like traveling, getting to know people, sitting in a round table. It's like round table talk with people that you don't know, and talking about their backgrounds and different foods and different things, and really just getting to understand and know people.
Do you have a trip planned? What's the next?
So, I have actually feelings about this.
Okay, tell me.
So I did want to go potentially to Poland because my son on his dad's side, so he lost his dad a couple of years ago, and he's Polish on that side. Now, I could care less. I don't know anything about Poland. Of course, historically I know, but I don't, and I did not really want to go there. However, this is how cultures meet. Bad Bunny was going to do a concert in Poland. in July. I was like, perfect. I'm like studying about history. We could go see Bad Bunny. We could go see all these different things. We can look up his last name and see we, come up with something. And so in my mind, I'm like, we're going to freaking Poland.
To see Bad Bunny.
To see Bad Bunny and to study Poland and to travel a little bit and, whatever. I don't know what we're going to find there. I'm sure it'll be amazing. And then we got into war.
Yeah.
And so I have reservations because I feel guilty about that. I feel guilty about the people who have died. I feel guilty about the innocent lives. I feel guilty about the citizens. I feel guilty about being part of this country that has caused a lot of harms going way back. And so I don't feel like I need to be traveling and having all this privilege when other people are suffering. And I don't know, it's just hurt my soul. And so I feel like right now, if I was to travel, I'll probably do it by car. I might go to Montreal, I guess. I might travel here and there, but it's really like affected me in a way where I just don't feel like I need to be this, everybody do you, but I just have this, I don't know, thing in my soul where I just don't feel right, like just getting on a plane and having a vacation, unfortunately.
I think that's really honest and real. And like, I don't have a neat response to that because that's so complicated. And you're right, and everyone has to make their own decision. But like, that's a bunch of truth that you're laying down there.
Yeah. However, if you see me in Italy next summer, I mean, it could be. I could be like, you know what? I want to eat. I want to go on a food tour. I'm ready to do it. But I'm conflicted. I'm certainly conflicted.
I get that. And I feel like that's also a thing that you, in your 40s, like, and I can change my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so how's your writing going? Are you working on that right
Zero,
now?
girl. My writing is at zero. Maybe I'm trying to live a different version of myself that doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe it's just not present right now. Like, I feel like the desire would just be so strong that I would just have to do it, And the thoughts come, like the ideas come for sure. Like I'll have a thought and be like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I should write a whole hour about this. And then it flows away and I'm like, that was enough. That was fine. Moving on,
That's really interesting. I mean, the writing thing aside, just this idea of like, as we get older, are there parts of us that we just assume are still there because like the history of that is long?
Yeah.
Or the roots run really deep. But like this curiosity of when we look at our present life, like, is that actually still true?
Yeah. Also, Carrie Bradshaw and Miranda on Sex and the City were like, when you're a writer, you're always a writer. And that also is stuck in my head. And I'm like, I'm always a writer. But then I'm going to push back a little and say like, you know what? Maybe freaking not. Maybe I'm done with that shit. Maybe I'm like not a writer anymore.
God, that's so interesting. I feel like I need to sit with that question myself of, am I still a writer? I feel like I am, but also I have this over-identification with this need to write a book that has not happened yet. And what do I do with that? Is that weighing me down and holding me back? That is an interesting question that I have not considered.
Okay, but also I'll say this. I do think as women, because I do believe that women are the most incredible creatures in the world.
Amen.
I think we should all write a book. I think that should be life's assignment, that we should write a book. It's like there's so much layering and so much that we can learn from each other and so much that we need to say and so much wisdom that comes with age. We all should have that assignment, so we should all do it. So there's that,
Oh my gosh, both are true. Yeah. Both are true. Okay, so what would your book be called?
Oh God.
What are some of the titles of the chapters?
Oh God.
I want you to write a book. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh, funny.
I don't have it. I've thought about this question many times. And it hasn't hit yet, but I will come back to this. I will come back to this question. the title of a book has to be something that when you say it, I feel it in my vagina. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It just has to be like, oh, that's the one. Yes.
Forget the gut check. You
yeah.
gotta feel it.
It just has to be like, oh. Like, I want to be able to be like, that is the freaking one. And I have not felt it yet. I've come close. But then life changes.
Yeah,
And then
life
you don't
changes.
feel it anymore. Then it's like, I don't feel that anymore.
I know. That's really true.
So I gotta, and also like, I don't think I would tell anybody the title of my book until it comes out. Like, it's just something that's,
Well, that's like
yeah.
what people say too
Yeah.
about when you're naming your children. Because if you tell someone and then they're like, oh,
Yeah. And it loses the sparkle when you
does.
say it. It's
It
like,
does.
and now it's out there. Now I'm over it.
oh my God, you're so right. Okay, well, I will just be waiting for whenever that book comes
That's so
out.
sweet.
I love what you said though.
I might be 97. I don't know.
That's great. And I probably said that should be Life's assignment. I
Yeah.
love that so much. Okay. Let's see. How did you feel about turning 40? Did you feel a certain kind of way? Or
Yeah,
are you like,
I did. And I
Okay.
didn't think that because I definitely thought, you think you're a certain type of person. Like, I thought I was someone who does not care about age. I don't care about gray hairs. I'm not that person. And it hit me. I definitely felt like oh my God, I'm going to die tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm 96. Oh my God, like the aging process has truly begun. I'm not young anymore. And I didn't feel that at 30. I was really happy to be over my 20s. And I loved my 30s. But 40s hit me hard. I mourned. It was a grief situation. And then it's been the best decade. So it's one of those bipolar scenarios, like for every woman, that was mine. It was just like, oh my God, I'm going to be 80 tomorrow. And then suddenly it's been the best decade. And I almost don't want it to end. I'm like, 46, I'm on the second half.
yeah.
And I've learned to embrace age. I've learned to embrace myself. The parts that I would say annoy me the most is just like the aches, aches of the body. That's the part that annoys me. That everything else, it's just, I love the wisdom that comes with age, and I love that we're still young also, but I don't know, I just love it. I just love it. I honestly have nothing bad to say about the 40s. I heard the 50s are great, but also everybody's different. So for now, my 40s have been fabulous. And at 40, I had a meltdown about it. So
What is your favorite thing to talk about, or favorite things to talk about either in your 40s or just like what you're finding as you're getting older? Like,
okay, right now, I've become really obsessed with hormone replacement therapy.
okay, tell us everything that you're I'm actually like, we're not talking about this yet on the podcast, but someone's got to get us there. So
Okay, first of all, this is where we need to all hang out at Isola or whatever and like have a whole workshop about it.
love it.
Because I don't know what to believe anymore. I love that there's so much conversation about it.
Right.
So obviously in our 40s, we accept that we're nuts, right? It just happens. Like as women, we're just like, we're losing our minds. Obviously, by losing our minds, we become rich in so many other ways. But there's imbalance that's happening, and sometimes it's extremely uncomfortable. And so depending on who you are, sometimes you go with the flow, and sometimes you're going to doctors, going to specialists, going to so many different people to try and figure out what to do. You find doctors or specialists who say, your hormones change every day. So it's really hard to check on them or to do a test because they change all the time. You find women who put on the patch and they're like, I was a different person the next day. And then you find a woman that said, I had to remove it immediately because it had this effect. So, and I have a fear a little bit of dealing with your hormones because I had my own little experience in my 30s with it. I wasn't very wise about it, the way I went about it. And I ended up kind of like that week before your period for like 2 months. I was a psychopath for 2 months because I decided to mess with my hormones. I wasn't properly guided. And so I had a moment. So I know that, it's you shouldn't mess around with it. It's something that you need proper guidance, and it's something that you really need to know your goal with it. And that your hormones are really what they are. You're really low on this, you're high on this, or whatever it is. But for those people that it works and that they feel that sort of stability on their minds, especially, oh, I dream that I can find the right formula or the right recipe to like, you know, cure that mental like situation. So I talk about it a lot. Anybody who's in their 40s, I'll be like, we'll talk OBGYN conversation. We'll talk about hormone replacement therapy because it is a reality that we're, in a sense, just a little bit out of whack. So we talk about the weeks of our periods. We talk about how is it affecting your life? How is it affecting your life with your husband, with your children, at work, And sometimes it's very real, And we go through that. Every week we go through it, whether you're low or you're high or you're feeling depressed or you can't move or you're paralyzed for whatever reason. What I have found personally, the part that for me feels very stressful is my nervous system sometimes feels out of whack. Like it feels like I can't handle something, which is unlike me. I feel like I've always been a very steady person. I can handle anything. And then, my dog will break a nail and I'm like paralyzed. I'm like, and I can't handle it. And I'm like, what is that? And a lot of it has to do with your nervous system regulating itself and whatever, guys. And then all of it. And then therapy. And then hormone replacement therapy. And then all of the above. And then you're trying to find, So yeah, right now for me personally, it's about finding the ways I can regulate. A lot of that has to do with diet and exercise and exposing ourselves more to, the sun and calming ourselves and not being on the phone all the time and all those things. But some of that is some imbalances that we're going through. So hopefully we can just assist in different ways. So that's why, like, usually if people are open to it, we'll kind of get into that conversation.
That's really cool. So that's actually like I always love to ask my guests, like, where do you look for wisdom? Where are you it sounds like you're probably turning to like the people in your real life, but are there some favorite or, they're all the whatever.
No. I'm sorry. People scratch that. My new best friend is ChatGPT and AI, okay? I have to admit it. I am a crackhead for the new AI, and I'm so sorry to say it, but I have a problem with my dog. I need therapy. I need to discuss work. I need to discuss whatever, only because it's very private. So I feel like I can just be like, and ChatGPT already knows me. My ChatGPT's name is Sage. We have a very intimate relationship. It's kind of sick, and I worry for the future. I'm glad that I was born in my generation, and I can, assess what this is. But, this is what I think about. Imagine a mother-daughter relationship. And a daughter doesn't want to ask the mother something because for whatever reason, this is how we pass knowledge on. You ask your elders, you ask people who know more. But now you have a computer to tell you, like, no, this is how you do it. So what does that do for relationships in the future in a country where we're still private and we're so insular in a way, So I'm worried about that. Putting that aside, ChatGPT is my new best friend, okay? So I have a problem, but I love it. And it's given me a lot of ways to grow in different ways. It helps me with family issues. It helps me with like, I want to learn more about geography. Okay, go do this. It's like it holds it all kind of together. Which basically means I need to take a month off from all of it so that I can recover myself. I need to go into recovery.
I was going to ask you about that because like you mentioned the phone and I'm wondering if there's anything that is like helping you with that or no, you're just like I'm full.
No,
you're using
full addiction mode. It's a sickness. That and my scalloped pajamas have taken over my freaking brain.
You're really cute.
Yep. Those are the two addictions of my life right now. No, but I know that it's not right. My soul and my being is telling me like, you need to breathe fresh air. You need to walk. You need to like be outside. You need to think for yourself. I love that there's something. I remember when Google came out, which feels like it was yesterday.
I know.
When you could just search things in Google. And thinking like, wow, we could just look up information and find out information. So for somebody like me who's constantly curious, that was like heaven. So I could just, instead of going to an encyclopedia or trying to find through this and that, I could just go to Google. And I use Google to the max. I need any detail, whatever. Now I have a Google with personality that knows me and understands me. So it'll exactly understands how I think, how I behave. It's sick. And I have fallen into the crevice. So it'll even know, like, remember we were talking about Japan last week? Like, let's mix this in Japan and then it just, it's horrible. So the point is that I need to be able to, as an experiment myself, I need to learn how to maybe use it once or twice a week and then the rest of the week live my life. Because what I'm not doing is living my life. I'm living in a virtual world. Unless I'm here, with Kath and you guys.
Yeah.
Which I do plenty of. But I'm also, when I'm by myself, I'm not living my life a lot, which is not healthy. So I got to work on it.
Well, I think you're in good company. I think we're all struggling with that to some extent. And you're right. Like, I think about it a lot because my kids are younger than yours. And like, they're growing up so differently. Like you were saying, I'm grateful that like I have spent so much of my life outside of this technology and learning how to think and learning how to critically think and learning how to analyze and how to have conversations and how to create an argument or structure an essay, right? And now it's like, without that background, I could imagine it being a really different experience. Okay, I want to do a special segment right now.
Go for it. Special segment.
Special segment on hair, because actually I feel like every time I come here, I learn something about hair. And I was kind of asking, they're playful questions. And I think that's where the topic of something like hair or beauty or anything, like however you want to phrase it, is interesting because it's both like high and low. Like it's serious and it's also fun. I think it says a lot about our identity and the way we perceive ourselves in the world around us. But also like it can just be playful and like can feel nice and fun and frivolous. But what do you think women in their 40s, what do you want to tell them about their hair or beauty or appearance? What, just like let us listen and sit at the Church of Lourdes.
When I first came up to Hudson, I was really impressed with how many people, on the spectrum of age, let their hair go gray. I was really like, wow. Like, young girls in their 30s, you could see their gray coming through. I will say that because it's combined with style. So it's like stylish. It's like, it's to a point where I felt like that looks cool as hell. And then going to a yoga class or a Pilates class, I don't know who's 30 or 80 anymore. I swear to God, I don't.
I don't.
It's like everybody is in their own flow of who they want to be. Not everybody, but I respect it so much because I know how hard it is. I've been in this game for 20 plus years. I've had women who come here say, I'm going to let it go. It's so stressful for them. They'll come back 8 months later. They'll color their hair again. And the other day, I actually had a client who was the reverse. All her family was like, you look beautiful with gray hair. I agreed. I was like, I was on the team of let it go. You look beautiful. She was getting professional shots done, but she was so uncomfortable getting those shots with gray hair. And we did 2 consultations of 30 minutes, which I never do. And we sat and we discussed it. And I was like, fuck it. Let's color your hair. This is making you so unhappy. This is not about the hair. The brightness has to come from the inside out. Like, you're going to shine from the inside out. The hair is just an accessory. Like, everything else comes from in here. If you are happy with what this is, it's going to show. If you're not happy, it's going to show. So for me, doing hair is so fun. There's a part of me that loves fashion, that loves trend, that loves, that part of things that up here, like we see so much of, and I love it and I can dive into it. But more than that, I love people to find themselves. I love to meet people who are themselves, who see themselves, who can be unique, you know? And that's not to say that I hate that, you know, everybody's wearing the same haircut or whatever. I don't care about that. I just, is that you? Is that who you want to be? Then great. That's fantastic. For me, 40s is about shedding it all and just trying to feel like what's practical for me. Who do I want to be? And if that's the trend, then be the trend. And if that's like something unique, if that's a fringe, if that's long hair, if that's a shaved head, if that's whatever, then that's what it is. But you got to back it up. And that's, you know, what gives you like the respect, you know, that's what gives you the respect for yourself, not for everybody else, because everybody else is going to feel it. So that journey in your 40s is so important about meeting yourself and like addressing those issues and just finding who you want to be and advocating for yourself and supporting yourself without anybody else's acceptance or whatever it is.
I love that. I have this theory that I'm working, which is like, if you do you,
Yeah.
then like most of the time you will not be on trend.
Uh-huh.
But then like once every, I don't know, 8 or 18 years,
Yeah.
whatever, like
Yeah.
those, it's like a moon, you know, and like whatever, like a solar eclipse, like those two things will pass by each other and you will be on trend. And like one of the things, because I'm seeing a little bit of this in my own life because, you know, I've been doing this work for 12 years since I quit Big Law. And like, I think I'm number one, not that great at the internet. And number two, have just always had the pleasure and opportunity and privilege of doing my work first and foremost in person.
Yeah.
My teaching, my retreats, my workshops, my, you know, all running the studio. And so I just never cracked the algorithm on like how to be successful online.
Yeah.
And that was a huge part of the last 12 years is like being successful online. But now it's really interesting because like I think there's a turn towards like the anti online. And people are like I think the new millennials dream is to, it's kind of like what you and I were each doing, which is to run your little brick and mortar business in a quaint town. And like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've always been doing it this way. But now for the first time ever, I'm having like a little solar eclipse moment where the way that I do it just happens to be of interest because for the most part, I've been doing the opposite of that.
Man, it's so tricky because we have to marry these things of ambition, but also like a place of peace within ourselves. And it's, I think in our 40s, that's also like how do we like gain both? And I feel it too, because it seems almost like, you know, it's so attainable because it seems so easy. Like, well, if I just did these 5 things and let it run, it can make me this passive income, or it could do this, or it could do that. And all we are looking for is stability. I mean, forget, you know, we're just looking for a form of stability in a way. But I do notice a lot of chat online about, I don't want to learn about AI. I don't even want to know what that is. I want to play a real guitar. I want to hear a real person. And I see people really being drawn to let me go hear a live band, or I want to go draw, or I want to like really intentionally saying like, I'm not going to fall down that rabbit hole like I'm doing myself. I really want to go see real things. So I think things are definitely splitting in a way, for sure. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting what you just said about like the ambition and then the like being at peace with it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm observing, because, you know, I'm like watching women across the decades right now, like very specifically. And it was so cool that you brought Jerry to my birthday party. What, is she she's in her 80s, right? Or
She's
70s?
79.
79.
Yeah.
Wow. That was incredible. And so watching, because I do, and this is just my outside in observation, when I'm looking at a woman in her 60s, and I get to see a lot of women at the studio are in their 60s, which is really cool for me to observe and get to learn from. I don't sense the same ambition and urgency.
Yeah.
And it looks so nice.
Right? Oh my God. I just want to have wine with those women every day. Like, I just want to chill and live in their like whatever.
It's like, can you only get there by earning it through the years and doing the hustle for a while, and then you're like, cool. I just don't know, because if I could skip some of this running around and feeling like I'm doing too much but not enough, I would try to skip.
Yeah. 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 Jerry is such a special person.
Tell me a little bit more about your friendship with her.
Well, when I started in this industry, she was one of my models. She was very unique, in fact, because had a lot, like 100%, let's say, whitish hair with a little bit of pepper, and she was a blonde cover gray in my business of studying hair. So it was a very unique thing and a hard thing to get. So I had my blonde cover gray. Her name was Jerry, and she would come every few weeks, and she was my test out model, and she was blah, 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 blah. And I did her for many years, and she would come in and out of my life after I passed all my tests and everything. But immediately we connected. Her story is fascinating. It's like I met her already when she had been there and done that. Like post having kids, post getting sober, post like having a second career. So in a place where she was really carving her own path, an artist, but also looking for stability, a person who had a lot of stability, obviously with her partner, but then wanted to carve her own way. It takes a lot of bravery and strength for someone, of course, of her generation, to do. So it's something that I admired in her a lot. And even to this day, she's still like, I'm doing it. I'm going to move back to Ireland, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it just gives me like strength, to see somebody who's like not giving up on anything or any of her values. The moral compass in her is so strong. And I think sometimes when you feel like you're losing it, to have that kind of guidance from older women is strong. She's the one who recommended to me that book about the wolves running.
Oh, Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that should be the first
we should
book of the book club.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So I'm going to like clue the listeners in a little bit, because the listeners have heard the story of my 40th birthday, which was just like, I hand wrote an invitation. I took a picture of it. I started texting it to people to say, come meet me at this little wine bar in Kinderhook. And I invited, and I was like, listen, I'm forgetting to text people, bring people who you happen to be with that day, share this with people I forgot to send it to. And so about 40 women came, and it was so cool because they were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, almost 80s. And there's something really important to me, and I don't even quite know what it is or how I want to articulate it, but I feel it, of this like intergenerational sharing of wisdom that it's vital and important for us to be able to sit with women across decades and across the ages. And so when you were like, I'm coming and I'm bringing a friend, then you roll off with Jerry, I was like, this is it. This is the whole thing.
Yeah. I really love, though, that people were drawn to her. Like, immediately, as soon as she came in, everybody was like, who is this, like, magic being? Like, she has aura, and she, like, can, people were drawn to her knowledge. They wanted to absorb things from her. And I love that for her, because as, you get older, you get more lonely, and she feels that, you start losing friends, family members and stuff. And, those women need companionship. So it's such a beautiful place for her to get that. And she did. It was a really nice treat for her.
I love that too, because I think, we're so used to like seeing this cultural representation and emphasis on youth. And like, there is this question about our visibility and as we age, but like to see that women left to their own devices in that setting are actually going to like flock to the elders, right? Like are going to flock to like the most magnetized woman in the room is the one perhaps with the most wisdom and lived experience. I think that's really powerful and not something we hear about a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, this has been a big topic that's come up on the podcast and started in that 40 portal notebook that I brought about like our visibility as we age and women perhaps becoming more invisible. Do you have a thought there?
Well, honestly, it's a conversation that I've only really touched on recently. And by recently, I mean maybe the last couple of years with people like Jerry, with other older women. It's not something that I fear just yet.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sad. I've felt it, I guess, through my son now, who's gotten older, and now we talk less. We share less things. I see him kind of flocking away, and I can see how when you get to a certain stage, you just yeah, I mean, a lot of things start dying. That's a reality.
Mm.
So the way that I think about it or I try to process it is like, it's the way of life. So you try to do your best. I will try. I joke around with all my friends that we're all putting like $5 every day for like, the whatever elder facility we're all going to end up in, and to have just hot guys and hot people all around us playing bingo and to change our diapers, and we're just going to have some fun ass time, and we're going to dance until our knees give out. So we have fun trying to like imagine like what our elder years will be. But I imagine it'll be lonely, and I imagine that life happens when you're younger, and as we're older we have to reimagine what that looks like or what that can be. I think we can do it. I think our generation can do it.
I know that.
Yeah.
What is something that your 10 years ago self would be surprised to know about you today?
10 years ago, 46, 36. Wow. Probably that I can let it go, and I think that means like you don't have to, winning sometimes is letting it go. And I think coming from cities, especially where we're so directed into like, you need to get, and we do everything sometimes to achieve a goal, to get whatever promotion or to achieve a job or whatever it is in life and personal and everything. And I've learned really the hard way a lot of times that sometimes winning is not achieving it. Sometimes winning, like you're killing yourself. It's detrimental to your health and your soul and your mental health and everything. And you got to let it go. Like it's not good for you. So I think for me is the fact that I am now able to look at something and say, I got to let it go. I think that for me is big at this point. But at 36, it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No notes. Okay.
Yeah.
No notes. No notes, Lourdes. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed recording that episode. It was so much fun. Make sure if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Pods, check us out on YouTube. Every single episode is recorded on video. This one's really funny. It's like I'm literally sitting there with foils in my hair. So if you haven't visited us on YouTube yet, the link is in the show notes. Find us there. Take a look at the episode. See how gorgeous Lourdes is. And it was just really fun to sit and have this conversation with her, to share it with you. If you enjoyed it, please consider taking a moment to leave us a 5-star review and a rating, and to share this podcast with a woman that you are having these conversations with in real life. And while you're at it, if you're into books, join us over on the Substack. 40 Portal Book Club has launched, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to share some of my favorite books with you there. Okay, see you next time.